Hey YouTube, it's Mr. North 14, and today I'm doing a review on how to properly set up the audio portion of your Vizio soundbar, the 5.1.2 F6 model. Okay, I have a lot of people that have been asking me, Mr. North 14, Mr. North 14, what are your settings for your audio on your device, on your soundbar? And I keep trying to tell people, it really doesn't matter what my settings are. If I give them to you, they're not going to work for you. You're still going to have to set it up because you have a different environment. You know, your basement or your home is going to be different than mine. So you're still going to have to go through the work of having to set up the proper audio settings. So what I decided I'm going to do is basically go through a setup, an audio setup for you and what you need to do. So the first thing you need to do, go into your TV. Okay? Because this is where you're going to have to actually set up your audio. Okay? Now here, first thing you'll need to do, go into your TV, go to audio. As you can see, I have my speakers turned to off. Okay, I hope you can see that. And then down at the bottom here is basically saying how is the ARC on the back of the TV or the sound connections hooked up. I have it so that it auto detects on what audio format that my TV does. Okay, this is not one of those new fancy TVs. It's a 4K, it's HDR, but it uses Dolby Digital Plus. Okay, some of those are going to have the bit stream that's already going to be ready for Dolby Atmos. Mine is not ready for Dolby Atmos. That's why I need a soundbar and an Xbox 360 to take the benefits of having Dolby Atmos. Okay, because my TV does not output a bit stream or something like that that has that Dolby Atmos mix already built in. Okay, so that's the first thing you want to do, is make sure that your TV is set up so that you have the speakers off and that whatever audio yours does, you want to know that, because if your TV can output the Dolby Atmos sound, that's even better. You won't need a third device like an Xbox or something like that to benefit, to get the sound from all your apps to have Dolby Atmos playback. Okay, so go in there, see what your TV does is the first step. Go into your audio, and after you go into your audio, you still want to go into another section here. Okay, and this is, hold on here so I can, this here is your control devices. Okay, you also want to look for this in your TV, because you can't get Dolby Atmos playback unless you hook that soundbar up, or a receiver or whatever, to your ARC connector. Okay, you can't get that Dolby Atmos playback if it's not hooked up to ARC. You can't get Dolby Atmos playback if it's hooked up to optical, or it's hooked up to the red and white cable, audio cables. You cannot. You're going to have an HDMI cable hooked up to ARC in order to get the benefits of Dolby Atmos. So that's the second thing you need to do, is to go into your TV, make sure you got control other devices, or CEC, checked for ARC, as well as system audio control box checked. Okay, once you have these two things checked, it should automatically shut off the speaker system so that no more sound is coming through your speakers. But just in case, do those two things just to make sure that your speaker volume is off and everything is set up, so that you can now hook everything up to your sound bar and make sure that you get Dolby Atmos sound. So that's the first step that you have to do. Okay, so we're going to go back here into my TV now, and then what I'm going to do now is show you how I have my Xbox set up. Now I can only show you the things that I have, so if you don't have these things, then you might have to take a different route. Okay, I do apologize for that, but I can only tell you what I know and what I own. Okay, so the next step would be for us to go into the Xbox. So let's go into the Xbox here, and give me a second as we go into the Xbox. Make sure it notices me. should. Come on. There we go. Okay, so now it's noticed me. Now the second thing you want to do after you go into your TV settings, okay, you want to go into your Xbox settings, because there's things you need to do here to make sure that you get Dolby Atmos playback. Okay, so here we're going to go into here, and one thing I tell people, it doesn't really have anything to do with Dolby Atmos playback, but it's very important for when you're using your Xbox or your PlayStation that Microsoft gives you a thing here that tells you if you're not getting 4K or HDR and things like that. It has a little check thing. So if you see all these little green checks, it basically means you're okay, and it's going to show you any errors that you have if you're not getting 4K or not getting HDR playback. It's going to tell you why in this section here, and it's called 4K TV details. Okay, and another important thing is video modes here. It's going to tell you exactly what your TV can do. Okay, so that's very important because you got the 4K TV, you want to hear the Dolby Atmos playback. So in order for all those things to work correctly, you want to make sure that everything, that those boxes are checked, and that when you go in there, you can actually see these things like the TV display, and go in there and check out the video modes and see what your TV can do. Okay, so let's go down here to audio, because this is very important. Okay, now you see here HDI audio. I have it set here to bit stream out. That's what you're going to need for Dolby Atmos playback. Okay, you're going to have that set, and then you got to have this set to Dolby Atmos for home theater trailer right here for your HDMI. Okay, now if you're using a headset, as you can see, you got Dolby Atmos, you got the Windows Sonic headphones, and then you got the Dolby Atmos for headphones. So if you just listen through wireless headphones, now the Dolby actually costs $14.99, but the Windows Sonic is free, and that's from Microsoft. So you can put on a pair of headphones and get 3D audio played through those for free doing that. Okay, so you got that set up. Now everything in your Xbox is ready to go. It's set up for you to have playback. You got your soundbar hooked up to your ARC. You have your Xbox hooked up to your soundbar. Now any app you have in here is going to play Dolby Atmos. Any game that's designed to play is going to be, in Dolby Atmos. Especially if it's designed to work in Dolby Atmos, it's even going to be better. Okay, but every app here works and has Dolby Atmos. So if I go into Netflix, I'm going to be watching every movie in Dolby Atmos. If I go into Plex, I'm going to be every movie that I have downloaded, it's going to be in Dolby Atmos. Okay, or it's going to be in an algorithm that can try to play Dolby Atmos. Okay, so now you're saying, okay, Mr. Noor, what is your setup on your actual Streamcast app for your Vizio soundbar? How is that set up? And that's what I'm going to go through next, but I wanted to go through the basics with you right now because your TV and your soundbar need to be ready to receive Dolby Atmos. Okay, so we're going to take a little break, and when we come back, then I'm going to actually go into the app and show you how to tune, okay, your audio settings so that you get the best sound in your area. Okay, so give me a second, we'll be right back. Okay, YouTube, so I'm back. Now, the first thing we did was actually look at the hardware that we have to create Dolby Atmos. We looked at the TV and the ARC. We looked at the soundbar. We connected it to the ARC. We had the Xbox One X. We connected the HDMI of the soundbar into the Xbox One X. Okay, so we went in there, and then we actually went into the settings of our TV, and we set that up for having good audio. And then we went into the settings of the Xbox, set that up so that we can get Dolby Atmos and DTS:X virtual, so that we can get three-dimensional sound. Okay, so we did all that. Now the next thing is, what is our end result? What are we trying to do? Okay, what we're trying to do is to create this bubble. Now I have a video that shows you the proper setup, the physical setup of your soundbar and satellite speakers so that we can create this bubble of sound. Okay, and in this bubble of sound, this is where your 3D audio tracks are going to move. This is where you're going to hear that basketball go from one end of the court to the other end of the court. Okay, that's where you're going to see that plane take off and go overhead, and it's going to start in front of you, go over your head, and then go behind you. This is the end result of what we're trying to create through Dolby Atmos and DTXX Virtual or any three-dimensional sound. This sound bubble. Okay, and this is going to help us set our audio settings so that everything has the right amount of bass, everything has the right amount of treble, everything has great dialogue that we can actually hear. Okay, so again, I want to tell you about the difference between DTXX Virtual and Dolby Atmos. Dolby Atmos uses height speakers to create that three-dimensional sound. DTXX Virtual, what it uses is an algorithm to make it seem like there's more speakers in that room, so that that bubble that you have there seems like you have 2 or 3 extra speakers around it. Okay, and that's an awesome audio effect. Now, another difference between Atmos and DTXX Virtual is that DTXX Virtual has a higher bit stream than Dolby Atmos. And the saying is, the higher the bit stream, the better the sound. You would think that, but the guys at Dolby, they found a way that their lower bit stream is actually producing better sound than DTXX Virtual's is. And I know that's amazing, and that's the strength of Dolby Atmos, and that's one of the reasons why it is winning at the moment. Because you can tell the difference between a Virtual X track and a Dolby Digital. Dolby Digital is much cleaner. It's more suited for the home environment, because not only is it great for blockbuster loud movies like your Michael Bay's, but those movies like Silent and stuff like that, it's even superior in those movies where it's not a lot of sound. Okay, but when you get sound, it's more dramatic, it's more eerie. Okay, so this is our end result. This is what we want to produce. In the end, we want to produce this sound bubble, and in this sound bubble, our audio settings are going to be either increased or decreased. Okay, so let's go over how we want this sound bubble to work. In the next area, I'm going to tell you, we're going to actually go into the settings. Okay, we're actually going to go into the settings, and I'm going to let you see mine. And like I said, my settings don't mean anything because your space is different than my space. And like I said, please go back and see the video where I have the correct physical setup with the right distances. 5 feet, 7.5 feet, 12 feet, where I explain all that and how the system actually works. Okay, when it comes to the physical setting and how you should physically set everything up. Okay, I'll be back in just a little bit. This is Mr. North 14. I'll be right back. Okay, YouTube, I'm back. Now, what I'm going to show you before I actually go into the audio settings is an app here. It's called Dolby Access. And pretty much in order to use this, to use Dolby Atmos on an Xbox or PlayStation or in a Vizio or anything like that, you're going to need to have this app installed. Okay? And then the app is going to need to say ready to use, and it's got to have external upmixer on. Okay, so once you got that on there and you have this on your system, you're ready to do Dolby Atmos and DTXX Virtual. Okay, now I told you we're going to get into the audio settings. One of the videos I used to set up my audio settings is this video to the right bottom here. Is called The Fourth Phase in Alaska, and it's a video that not only incorporates music, but it has a helicopter in it, so you're going to have that height. It's going to have that music, so you know how to set your bass and your treble. Okay, it's also going to have dialogue, so you're going to know how to set your center speaker so that you can hear that dialogue. So this video is also about three minutes long, so it's long enough where you can adjust your settings and see how everything sounds. I suggest when you first start to set up everything, you turn this video on, turn all your settings to 0, and just one at a time move those settings. Say, you know, if I increase bass by 3, how does that sound? Put bass back to 0. If I increase treble by 3, how would that sound? Don't try to max that out and blow your speakers or anything. Just simply get in there, raise them up just a little, and see how each of the different audio settings affects the sound, just so you can get a reference. Okay, and start from this video here and use this video to adjust your sound. And okay, we're gonna go in, and I got the volume down because I don't want any copyright stuff. But as you can see here, it starts out like this. The music is playing, it's getting you into it. You're seeing the guys at the top of the mountain, and then all of a sudden he's gonna ski down. And you're gonna wanna know how much to set your bass, because that's gonna affect how that snowboard is hitting that snow and how much of that crunch you can hear from that board breaking that snow. And like I said, it's just amazing with Dolby Atmos to hear these things, okay? So you're gonna hear the snow blowing off to the side. You're gonna feel it when they're jumping up in the air and doing flips. You're going to see a helicopter scene, and you're going to be able to adjust your height speakers to that helicopter scene, you know, and it's coming down and things like that. Like I said, this video is full of just great shots and great sound shots to allow you to adjust your speakers the way you want to. So we got that all set up. We adjusted our speakers. Then you're going to try the Amaze and the Leaf to test out everything, to see if you have the right settings. Now, none of them have a lot of dialogue that you need, because dialogue is going to be important. That center speaker is going to be important for dialogue, so you might want to test that on something else. Go up here to Tomb Raider and use it to make sure that the center speaker and the dialogue, that you can hear it, but it doesn't sound so loud that it's irritating to you. You want to make sure that you don't got enough bass. That's why you want to go in Amaze and make sure that when you're using Amaze, it's got a scene where the thunder, and you know, when you hear a loud thunder and it's boom and that bass is shaking the room, you don't want it to be too overpowering, because you got to remember, when you have your guest over, some people don't like that. Okay, so you want to try to get it where you enjoy it as well as when you have friends over. So let's go into the Amaze app. So like I said, once you set your audio settings, you're going to want to go into this Amaze app, into the Leaf app, and the reason why is because it's lossless audio. This is the way the producers wanted you to hear this sound, and that's why these are the best ways to set up your audio. Now, this first part happens, and you're in this field of flowers. You're going to hear crickets and everything all around you. Okay, right here you're going to hear a bird circle your head, and you want to know, is your bass up enough for the subwoofer so you can hear the flap of the wing. Here's the sound with the rain, and then you're going to hear rain here, and lightning you're going to hear, and then you're going to hear this powerful bass of thunder, and that's going to let you know, hey, is my bass too loud? Okay, and you're going to say, oh, I might want to take that down one or two. And then you're going to have the natural life feel with the rain, and it's going to like rain is falling all around you because you're in that bubble of sound. And this is how you're basically going to test and say, hey, did I do the right things with my settings, my audio settings, listening to the phase 4, and did I set them right? Like I said, go in there, try them one at a time first. Okay? And then when you think you got them set, what you need to do is go into the Leaf and Amaze app and see if the settings are correct. What I do is I turn it down first when I first listen to it, because you want to hear the nuances and the little things that Dolby Atmos brings to the sound. When the bird is flying around your head, you don't want it real loud. You just want to hear the little flickers of the wings, so that you can hear the other audio that's happening around. You know, birds singing, owls chirping, and things like that. Okay? So another great video to use when tuning, and what I've done is this one called Insects by Microsoft. You can only get this on the Xbox One X. Okay, this is a great video to tune your speakers to in your audio settings because it's continuous. Not only that, it has a night and day effect. Okay? Not only does it have a night and day effect where you hear different animals, during the day you hear birds singing. At night you hear an owl singing, and that again is going to help you set your audio. Is it going to be a deep owl sound, or is it going to be a little weak owl sound? You know, but this is what this video can do. So you got the snowboarding video that I talked about. Everyone should have that. Okay, but if you particularly own an Xbox, this is the best app you can have to set your sound. Well, the simple fact is you're going to hear the wings fluttering. You're going to be able to add the bass to make sure of how powerful those wings flaps are. Okay, at the same time, you can hit the B button and turn off spatial audio and hear the difference with spatial audio and without spatial audio. And that is just something that you can't get from these other apps, to be able just to turn off spatial audio and hear the difference in sound when you're setting up your speakers, your audio settings for your speakers. So this is the cream of the crop video, because like I said, it has music, it has directional audio, it has directional audio from the left of you, right of you, of how the beetle flies, and then it has it where the beetle flies up in front of you. Okay? And then, like I said, you can change it to night and day and get different animals and a different look and feel. And again, it's continuous. As you can see, it's starting over again. Okay? And you're starting from the beginning, and you get to just keep setting your audio settings to this again and again and again. And this wind right here, you're going to hear the wind blow from the left to the right. And it's so amazing in this video. And like I said, also you're going to see how that it flies in front of you. You're going to really hear those flight speakers, those height speakers, really sound off when that beetle is flapping its wings right in front of the camera. Okay? And again, it's continuous. It's continuous, and you'll really enjoy setting your sound to this video. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you my sound settings. Like I said, it's not going to make a difference, because your area is different than mine, but a lot of people have been asking to see them. And I'm happy that people asked me to do this again, because when I set everything, I set it a long time ago. You know, when I first got my system, and I haven't changed my sound settings, and didn't realize that I needed to change them because of all the firmware updates and how sound is differently, and it plays better now. So again, once you do it the first time, it's going to be easy. Okay, so, and you have to remember something I did not remember, is that you have to keep checking, you know, if that's the best sound, because they're going to have these firmware updates. Okay, so I hope you enjoy this so far, what I'm doing. I'll tell you what number, if you just want to skip everything and go directly to the audio settings, I'm gonna show you that. But I just wanted to explain some things so that you can understand how to properly set everything up. I'll be right back. So this is it, YouTube. We're finally going into the app. I'm going to show you my audio settings. So all you people who want to see them and jumping up and down about them and thinking that this is the end all be all, you're going to be in for a surprise, okay? So as you can see, it says I'm in Dolby Audio Digital Plus. Okay, the reason why I'm saying that I'm not in Dolby Atmos is because I'm streaming this to my TV so that I can have a bigger platform to show my phone on, so that you can see my audio settings. As you can see, I am using the SmartCast app. I'm not using the remote. It's easier because it's more graphical representation on the app than it is on the remote. So that's why I'm using the app. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go into settings on the left top. You're going to go into audio settings. And here it goes, people. Here are my settings. I only got 2 for bass, 4 for center. Surround sound, I got about 8, but that's probably way too high. Maybe 7 or 6 would be better. I mean, but like I said, I just reset up everything, and to my ears, 8 sounds about right for the surround volume. Now remember, what the surround volume is going to do is actually shrink that bubble the higher you go up, because that means that the surround sound is stronger and it's coming more towards you, whereas you use less of it, it's going to expand that bubble. So remember that the higher you have that, the smaller that bubble is going to be your end result. Okay, for surround balance, that's really 0, because that's just saying right and left speakers. Okay, how's your surround balance? You don't want to change that. You want to keep that at 0, or you're going to hear more from your right side than your left side. Okay, subwoofer, I just got up to about 4. That's maybe even too high. And bass, I have at 2. So I could probably go higher on the bass and everything. But to me, in my space, that's what sounds good to me. I'm not having too much bass where I'm being, when people sitting here, it's like so annoying, and, just that theater quality where everything is just boom, boom, boom. You don't want that. Okay, and like I said, Dolby Atmos is great. You don't want, it's a great 3D audio format, and you don't want bass taking over, being able to hear birds or owls or anything like that in the picture. But I don't want to get off point here, so I have my surround sound on. That's this right here where it says surround sound. It is on. You always want that on. If it's not on, then your surround sound volume will not work. Or your surround sound volume won't work because your surround sound won't be on. As you can see, my EQs, you have movie, music, and direct. Okay, you want to use those videos to set up music. You probably want to use music videos to set up how you want that audio. With music on, it'll change for each one. Okay, these are like presets. They should have more. So if you set up your movie presets, then you set up your music presets. Okay, as you can see how it went from 4 to 3 for the subwoofer. Everything has changed a little bit. And then your direct. These are your presets. You go in there, you set them. You can set those, and anytime you go to them, it'll remember them. So I'm going back up to movie here because movie is the preset I like here, and it'll okay, as you can see, subwoofer moved back up to 4. Now, another thing that a lot of people don't know is the height speakers. In here, you have a way to turn them on. Once they're on, then you're in Dolby Atmos mode. Once they're off, you take the height speakers off, and you're no longer in Dolby Atmos mode. And then you have what this is, virtual. This is how you turn on your other 3D audio format. You hit that virtual. Now you're in DTSX virtual. So for you people who have high ceilings, this is what you want to use for your 3D audio format instead of the Dolby Atmos, because the Dolby Atmos, if your ceiling's too high, you're not getting that bounce off effect. And with DTSX virtual, it does an algorithm where it creates this feeling of you having more speakers, so you don't need those height speakers to create that 3D audio sound. Height leveler. This is basically saying, hey, those height speakers, how high are those ceilings? Okay, my ceilings are about 7.5. I don't need a height level more than 2. I'm fine. Okay, another thing that's on here is volume level. Volume level is good, is because basically you turn the volume up to where you like your volume on every input that you have. Okay, and then what you do is you turn the volume leveler on, and then it will remember those settings. Okay, so that if you go to one input and go to another, and a lot of people complain about, oh, I have this rush of sound and it's so loud and I'm getting this popping and stuff like that. If you got volume leveler on, you're not going to have that one input that's really, really loud and another input that's really, really low. Everything is going to be level at the numbers you set it. So if you go in between your inputs, everything is good. I don't have it on, but like I said, when I go in and I use my TiVo and I don't have my TiVo, I have TiVo hooked directly up to the TV. I have to turn it on so that I can hear the volume of the TiVo, so that it's at an equal volume to the rest of the inputs on there, and it's very good at that. Okay, so this is pretty much everything I have as far as audio. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this helps you out. Like I said, for you people, just go to the end, if you just want the audio settings. Okay, just go to the end of the video, get the audio settings. It's not going to help you by any means. Please listen to the whole video. I hope you enjoyed this. This is Mr. North 14. Peace out.